Let's start the show.
BJ Nix, are you here?
Present.
Present. Spoonie, Timothy Spoonie.
Present, sir.
Margaret and Mary. Do we have a Margaret and Mary?
Yes. Cool. And the margaritas.
All right. Class here. We're ready. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
This is the time to line up behind your team, to support your team, have faith in that team.
You know, it's peaks and valleys. You know, it can't always be good. And as I always tell people, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. But when you do know about
house call, Trevon Diggs, pick six. It's coming. They see it. Knocked away. Oh, Gregory. Hurts in trouble. 3 Cowboys wrap him up, make it 4. Micah Parsons is unblockable.
Pick Six fam, Cowboys Nation. It's officially playoff time. Let's go. 12-5. We know what it is. We got some stuff to talk about. Mary coming in right on cue as soon as the intro drops, so we're ready to rock. Hey, man. Different energy. Different energy. It is playoff time. No time to be scared. If you're scared, go to church. It's time for the Cowboys to get busy. Not only to correct not winning one last year, right, at home, you know, all that, but on the road. Oh, been a long time since the Cowboys won one on the road.
It has.
And they'll be in them blues.
It has, yeah. We're wearing the navy blues, which I'm really excited about, with the white pants, navy blue, and silver stripes. Hopefully we get that combination next year with the white helmets, the new alternate helmets, because that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, road playoff game. Football season still extended. We still have stuff to talk about. What more could you ask for? Tom Brady, 7-0 against the Cowboys. 7-1, maybe after this weekend. I don't know.
Yeah. Exciting times. And obviously, we're not going to talk much about the Washington game. We ain't got time for all that. It is what it is. It's out the gate. So we're going to definitely get into that. We're going to give away some regular season awards. So see, I changed the verbiage there a little bit there. Just regular season awards for the season, you know, and get that done the right way. And then it's all steam ahead here about these Bucs tonight, guys. And we're going to get into it. We got some guys returning to practice and stuff too. But with that being said, Miss Mary, how's your week going? Everything good? We good?
Good. Everything's good.
Okay. All right. Spoonie, how we doing? Wife, big win tonight, right?
Oh, yes. She had an opening day today. Girls basketball varsity. They won 87-19.
Woo!
Nice.
Woo! That's kind of like a Georgia TCU national championship type score there. Oh, kind of a little bit of a beat now. Oh,
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So my year so far in 2023 started out with a last-second field goal right at the stroke of midnight to propel Georgia to the national championship, and then TCU was like, "We got one drive. We're gonna give you one drive."
Yeah.
10-7. I'm like, okay, cool. We got a ball game, and then that was the end of that. So, shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs, back-to-back champs.
Like I said, they beat the Christianity out of them. It was rough.
Right.
It was rough. You know, I haven't heard this officially, But I heard there was some things that maybe the NCAA telling them to call the dogs off and, just coast on out. But Georgia had no parts of that. Like, no.
Yeah.
We're here. Been here, been real. Get with it. Crazy stuff, man. So we got blowouts for Smoothie's wife here. We got blowouts for the Bulldogs, and what's next is maybe some blowout for the Cowboys Monday night. But before we get into all that, for the regular season, let's go ahead and let's spin the block here, guys. Who's your MVP for these Dallas Cowboys in the regular season? Because we're in a new season now. It's 0-0. It's playoff time. That's where we're at. But for the regular season, 12-5, back-to-back. Preseason, I had them 10-7, but everything that went on, they surpassed that. And even more so knowing that, Cooper Rush had to play 5 games. They get back to 12-5. First time in back-to-back years since, the 90s? I mean, it's just been like 2 or so decades. So who's your MVP this season? I'll start with you, Mary. Who's your MVP for these Cowboys?
Brett Maher.
Money Maher. She gave the
He was
MVP
money.
to the kicker.
He missed
I
one
like it.
this past game, but huge improvement over last season. He really helped us out this year. So especially in those close games.
10-4. All right. Spoonie, who's your MVP of the regular season?
This was kind of hard for me. I wanted to share like an A and B, but I know we can't do A and B. Like
No, just one.
Just one. All right. So for me, it was a toss-up between.
No, just one. Just
Just
one. Just
Ryan.
one.
Damn it. I'm going with Tony Pollard.
TP.
I'm going with TP. When Dak down, don't get me wrong, Zeke had a hell of a year, great year. But Tony Pollard's explosiveness definitely did wonders for this team, especially where we lack in other positions like the receiver part where it wasn't as strong. So Tony Pollard became that weapon on the offensive side of the ball that held it down. That came back and still continue on. He got his first 1,000 yards this year. So my pick is Tony Pollard.
Professor O, who is your regular season MVP?
So my MVP was actually just brought up in the chat, but me and James are thinking the same way. I'm going with CeeDee Lamb, and the reason I say that is we made the big offseason move of trading Amari Cooper, getting Peanuts back, and betting that CeeDee Lamb would step through the door and be our wide receiver 1. There were some questions early on. Can CD do this? Does he really need a Batman and a Robin? Or is he the Batman or is he the Robin? Does he need that sidekick next to him to help propel his game? Can the offense really run through him? And he answered that. And the reason I picked CD, being honest, is if CD did not step through the door, our wide receiver core would have killed our team this year. We would have been dead in the water, seeing what we got from wide receiver 2 through 6. Yeah. We desperately needed CD to become who he is now, and he did. And I think our offense, it has, I don't want to say thrived, but significantly benefited from CeeDee Lamb. The other answers, completely agree. There's a lot of different routes you can go with this, but CD is my answer.
Yeah. I'm there. I'm with Lamb. I'm this close. I want to give it to Micah Parsons, but it wouldn't matter. I mean, that's just the key. And for all the reasons that you said, the question mark of what he was going to be able to do and where he was. And, we were always like, we believed that he could be that guy, but just a lack of nothing from Gallup. And then you wasted, didn't waste, it's a bad term there. The 3rd round pick didn't, come to fruition for them the right way. The James Washington thing went off the rails, right? And boy, even Schultz being beat up, right, during the season. If not for Lamb, I mean, we're kind of going back to that wide receiver by committee situation in 18 where you had to ship that first off to go get Amari Cooper at that moment. So, yeah, for me, it's Lamb. I'm for all the reasons you said and everything else. And boy, what a godsend for him, and to see what they can put next to him now and what he's able to do and watch him come to full form and what he's doing. Nothing short of amazing for him in his young career.
Right.
All right. Well, I'll spin the block. That's the MVP. Let's go with offensive player. Now, see, Spoon, here's where you get your 1As and 1Bs in here. See, I got your back. Spoon. So, all right, who's your offensive player of the year, Spoon?
Can't hear you, Spoon.
CeeDee Lamb.
Oh,
CeeDee
see,
Lamb.
there's your
CeeDee
1B now. See, you got it.
Hey, listen, man. Listen, and you know, and this is, and I'm gonna give this props. I know Professor O wasn't with us at the time. He was back and forth, but during the NFL draft when CeeDee Lamb got drafted, I remember that year that when the season was over with, you know, I was on the Jerry Judy train a little bit. BJ was on the CeeDee Lamb, and it was like during the whole process, Mendoza was CeeDee. You know, I said, you know what? I gotta join the clique. I'm seeing why they saying CeeDee Lamb the most, and you know, and I remember the backlash that you guys have taken, DJ, Miss Mary, when we was doing these mock drafts of CeeDee Lamb. Oh, we're not gonna get him. Wow, we keep talking about it, and my God, during draft night. I mean, I have the video. I'll show it maybe another time. But that video was so funny because when it was the pick before, BJ gets all crazy, pushes his family member out the way. This man had a candle.
I was just
light
like,
it up, and I mean, we went nuts with that. But you know, to go to that and see what CeeDee Lamb is today, wow, look at this. So. CeeDee Lamb, you're my offensive player of the year.
All right. Mary, your offensive player of the year. You echoing CD, or you going another route here?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few guys that have definitely saved us on offense this year. Without them, who knows where it would have been. But CD is definitely at the top of that list. I cried all off season about needing another wide receiver after they let go of Amari Cooper. Not because I didn't believe in CD, but because without him, our wide receiver room lacked depth and experience. So besides CD, like everybody else below him was just a guy. Michael Gallup's injured. We weren't sure when he was coming back. So yeah, we needed him desperately to be that guy that he was drafted to be. And thank God he was.
Yeah.
Now all we need to do is get Dak to target him like he targets Noah Brown, and we're all good.
Fair. Or maybe go trade for DeAndre Hopkins this offseason. That's another show, another time.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit later, another time. I'm giving my offensive player of the year. I'm going to go, since I gave it to Lamb, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to give it to Dak Prescott. For him to work with what he had to work with coming back, you know, from the thumb and whatnot. And we saw the jump in this offense and what Garrett got to and scoring the amount of points it did. So I'm going to give it to Mr. QB1, number 4, for my offensive player of the year for them. So, who's your offensive player of the year?
I'm so glad you saved me to go last because mine is not who you guys think I'm going to say. Terrence Steele was our offensive player of the year. Our offensive line.
He was
Terrence
like
Steele
1B. Yeah.
was completely different. Not even, and I don't mean like literally different with different players. I mean our offensive line run blocked better.
Yep.
Pass protected better. Like our offensive line was so much better with him, and we're feeling it every single game now. So to me, he was the offensive player of the year because he, alongside of all the other guys you guys mentioned, has blocked to help those guys be able to produce. And it's, you know, kind of starts up front. I'm not necessarily Mr. Trench guy, but I'm noticing. I'm aware even more so than I already was now, Terrence Steele, what you were doing. So we appreciate you. You were my pick.
Yeah, big facts. We'll flip over to the defensive side of the ball. And, okay, so, Mary, who's your defensive MVP? Who's the guy?
I'm going to
Or defensive player of the year, I guess I should say.
I mean, can I just say Dan Quinn?
I mean, if you want to, if that's the route you want to go, it's your award.
Yeah,
I'm
going to go Dan Quinn. I mean, you know, for him to repeat what, you know, as far as turnovers have gone, for them to basically have improved upon last year minus some injuries, and then to scramble with what he scrambled with due to injuries. They've saved us. They helped keep us alive while Dak was out, while we were only scoring about 1 TD per game. And that's largely because of his leadership. Obviously, you can say Michael Parsons, but I'm going to go with Dan Quinn.
All right. Spody, who's your defensive player of the year for the Cowboys regular season?
Defensive player of the year is somebody that I must say, you got to read the law, respect the law. I'm going with Tank the law.
Okay.
Listen, it is not easy for a man. Listen, he's getting up there in age. He's still competing with guys around who are younger than him, faster than him. But he comes up and makes the plays that he needs to make, just like the game against the Houston Texans on that goal line. He was a big part of that stoppage right there. He made the Pro Bowl, but a lot of folks thought he shouldn't have been. I don't know where the hell you came from. D-Law is my defensive player of the year, hands down.
Professor O?
I love that answer, Spoonie, because that's where I was going to go. So I'm going to go with the low-hanging fruit.
But you can agree.
I'm just going to go. No, I'm going to go with the low-hanging fruit. I'm going to take Micah Parsons. Micah is that dude. He's the All-Pro on the roster. I mean, not the players' first-team All-Pro, which we'll talk about, but he's very much so the guy that everybody's worried about, everybody's concerned with. And even though he's been, I don't want to say hobbled, but clearly fighting through injuries a lot this year, he still makes an impact play every single game. So I'm going to take Micah Parsons.
Yeah, boy. Case could be made for LVE once he got down and how this linebacker core room did.
Sheesh.
The Wolf Hunter, put some respect on him. But
Thank God he's coming back.
But the correct answer is Micah Parsons and what he affects around everything that gets people open and what he does. So yeah, for me, it's Micah Parsons. It might be low hanging fruit, but dadgum, it's the right fruit. Okay.
Yeah.
That guy in
some juicy fruit.
Yeah, some juicy fruit. I mean, even look at the cut-ups from the last game, Washington, some of we're seeing his pass rushing moves evolve and how he's getting through holes and still moving around, even though maybe a little nicked up here and there. Yeah, man, that guy's incredible. And I think he's a little pissed off reading them tweets today. He's like, I ain't worried about effing list. And it's like, say less, go be pissed off. I like it. All right, so that's our defensive player of the year. So I want to make this more interesting instead of doing an offense and a defensive rookie of the year. You got to pick one. Who is your rookie of the year on this team during the season?
Oh, it's easy.
Either side of the bar. Who is it?
It's easy for me. It's Bland.
Okay. Bland. Easily Bland. Okay, Spoonie.
I mean, for him to come in, off the bench like he did, where he was drafted, I mean, we did not expect him to make the contributions he's made. And with other guys injured, he's definitely the second best cornerback that's going to be on the field this weekend or on Monday.
Okay. Spoonie, who's your rookie of the year, regular season?
I'm going to give it to Tyler Smith.
That's a good one.
He was asked to do a lot of things this year, going from one position to the next, and was pretty solid. Held it down. Had some good up and down game, which is expected from a rookie player. But to be able to still do it, and even the games like the Bengals and the Rams, where the Bengals game, he had a great game. The Rams, he had to face Aaron Donald, hit rookie, welcome to the NFL, kind of plays what Donald did to him. But at the same time, to still hold your own and still be able to do what they ask you to do, I got to give it to Tyler Smith. He's growing in the right direction. He was somebody that not a lot of us was high on when we drafted him, but to come out and still do it the way he did it and the best way he did it, I'm going Tyler.
Okay. Oh, your rookie of the regular season is?
I'm 100% with Mary. For me, it's Deron Bland. I mean, we talked about it kind of the same argument when we were talking about why I thought CeeDee Lamb was our MVP because of what the rest of the receiver room looked like. Imagine if we had Diggs, knowing Brown and Lewis got hurt, with any of the other guys playing significantly more snaps than they already have, how bad our secondary would have looked this year. So Deron Bland being able to step up and play inside, outside, but not only be able to play like on a serviceable level, but to get 5 interceptions and make them at key moments. Like for me, he's the easy answer there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm with Spoon here. I'm kind of taking some of that same train of thought you have there because once Steele and Tyron Smith was out, if we didn't have Tyler, boy, this whole line would have been ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. I don't even know where to begin. We saw Ball, we saw Let's-Go, we saw all these guys, and boy, if we didn't have that kid here, I don't know what these tackle situation would have looked like. So you can't go wrong with either guy here. I'm going to go to Tyler Smith, but Bland's had a phenomenal season. I can't wait to see his trajectory and what happens and, getting some playoff experience, huh? So we got 2 for 2 there. 2 for Tyler Smith, 2 for Deron Bland. If we just went offense and defense, that's what would have been the picks anyway. So that way, maybe see where y'all would land at. Last one we'll do here. Most improved player from last season to this season on this roster. Most improved player. Who was the most improved for you guys? I think I know my answer if y'all don't have it, and I'll go if y'all don't. If y'all need a couple seconds.
I mean, I'm
Yes, I have it.
99%. I'm
I got
99%
mine.
sure that I have the same answer as you, Nix.
Okay.
So,
I know mine.
Okay, what's yours, Mary?
I'm going with Tyler Biadasz
That's
because I mean, like we were talking about when he got injured, it went from last year like feeling like he's a liability and oh my God, can he play? Can he be our center for the future? To him going down and like panicking, like what are we going to do without him? So I think he's made a huge jump from last year to this year, and we needed him too. We really needed him too.
Yeah, I mean, all the way to the point where Stephen Jones during the draft process says it's going to be an open competition, right? And and what he's done. So yeah, same for me. It's Tyler Biadasz, I think, hands down for me. Oh, that's where you're at.
yeah, the exact same. I mean, it wasn't long ago that a lot of the Cowboys Nation was talking about Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah.
That was the name, right?
Yeah,
we were like, let's take him in
yeah.
the first round because we have a liability at center, and he turned out not to be a liability. He was pretty good this year, so definitely him.
Spoony, you landed with Tyler. You got somebody else in mind.
No, Tyler's a great choice, but I'm gonna go another direction. I'm gonna go with LVE.
Sure.
Listen, Mr. Teen Wolf himself, he transformed into a wolf on the field, and when the green dot, we had conversations about him being replaced by Jabril Cox or the Clark X, Y, and Z, but he has been the most focused on, the most consistent player at that linebacker position that we could count on, and he stepped up big time. I wouldn't be surprised if they in the conversation of re-signing him for another year.
Yeah, big facts. Yeah, TC is again though. I was just about to mention that. Technically, you can say Brett Maher, but he didn't play for us last year. But for the last time he was here that's Mary's MVP, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, Brett Maher definitely.
Those close games, man.
Hashtag special teams matter. Y'all know.
Yeah, facts.
Okay, all right. That's some of the regular season stuff. Give the guys a nice tip of the cap on what they're doing and where this team kind of sits at. So we got some other news to get to before we get to these Bucks. So the first time ever player voted all pros. The Cowboys ended up with 2. Zach Martin, no big surprise. Turpin got voted as the punt returner. I mean, now probably the other surprise is, Micah Parsons didn't get voted on, but neither here nor there. Surprised about the Turpin vote from the players around the league? Somewhat? Or?
A bit. I know that obviously Turpin made the Pro Bowl, and that was a little bit of a surprise too for us. So obviously there's more traction for him amongst the media and players than maybe what the fans feel right now. Because speaking myself personally, I feel like the preseason is where all of this stuff's coming from. Still, the preseason returns. He had a few returns, especially let's say the first 6 or 7 games, he was pretty good. But since then, it's just not much there. So I'm kind of surprised because if you look at what the Vikings kick returner is doing, he's every single week popping up big ones. If you look at what Naheem Hines just did for the Bills, he had more returns in one game than what Turpin did all year. So I have a hard time seeing him as a first team All-Pro. But if the players say it, good for him. He's a rookie. He's tracked a long way to get here. So credit to him.
Facts. And on the other side, we'll get into some of this practice stuff. I don't want to talk about that. Never mind. There was something else. Let's get to the practice stuff. 3 guys coming back. 3 guys are back in the building. And boy, it cannot come at a better time here with the playoffs in Lude. The guy that we were talking about the most improved a little bit, that Mr. Tyler Biadasz is back on the field. We're also getting some help in that run defense with big old Jonathan Hankins back. And of course, we know what it's at linebacker. LVE was back in the building as well, practicing. So, for all intents and purposes here, this is about as healthy as we can ask for with the guys that have been out that are coming back versus the guys that are just kind of gone for the season. And also, this is a good point there, Rob Roberts. In Xavier Rhodes' practice.
Yes.
Which is the next point I was getting to. Big deal, little deal, no deal. Xavier Rhodes. Do we feel like he's gonna get a chance in this game, this playoff game?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones on Monday said, I'd be surprised if he wasn't active, which means he's 100% going to be active when Jerry says that on Monday. Monday, not like midweek. Like, we've seen him 2 or 3 practices now. Like, literally one day, he's like, no, he's playing. He's playing. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to start, play 10 snaps, no idea, but he's definitely going to be active this week.
Yeah, and that's kind of the crazy thing, because going from this last game, I thought they had found a way with Bland outside, right, and you had the mixture of Nashawn, right. It seemed like that was working well for them, and then they got to the Washington game, and that all kind of went out the window, and they were doing some things, and Mullen was getting the chance, and I was like, wow, they were kind of messing with this rotation. We found out quick, though, Mullen will see you next year. We don't need any more repeating of that. We dodged a bullet because Bland in the second half ended up with a chest injury, but he got cleared. Things are good. He'll be ready to rock. Boy, the one thing that we've talked about, I continuously give him credit here with now Xavier Rhodes, because, we talked about when he got released, hey, why wouldn't you take a chance on him? Why wouldn't you bring him in here? And for them to go out there and do it. They've consistently thrown, with the Lewis and the Brown injury at cornerback, boy, they have consistently thrown resources at it. Just something we haven't seen from this team in years past. So, I don't know, Ron. I mean, look, the great thing about Rhodes is he's a veteran. He's been around this league. It makes you feel pretty comfortable if the first time he's going to suit up for, he's going to be in the playoffs. What do you think, Simone?
All right, I like it. You want that experience. We lost that experience once Anthony Brown went down. Mullins has some experience, but he is not it. And we saw that last week. So Nashawn Wright is the only option right now, but you also want more than that. Just in case he's not having a good game, you can put Rhodes in there. I like that, and it's needed. It's definitely needed. When it comes to the playoff, you want experience as much as possible because, again, it's read and react, and you want somebody who understands what's going on around them. So for me, that's the best thing, especially where if you want this defense to get to at least close to where it was in the first couple of games of the season. It may not match it, but at least close enough.
Well, we haven't had it, and that's going to get us directly to this game. Monday Night Football. Monday Night Playoff Football. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I just don't like Monday night. Not for the playoffs. I'm not a fan. But here's what I do know. Whatever the record is for any game watched, this is going to absolutely destroy it.
Oh, it's gonna kill. That's why they did it. That's why they picked this game for Monday night. It's gonna murder all records.
But boy, I absolutely hate the fact that you're taking a playoff team now that's going to win and ultimately be on the road the following week on a short week in the playoffs. It's about competitive advantages and stuff like that. Atrocious from the NFL. I'm just not a fan of it. But here we are. The first thing that comes to mind when we talk about the Bucs, obviously we played them last year, week 1. We played them this year, week 1. Is there anything, 17 games ago, is there anything from that game 1 that the Cowboys can take forward here into this game, in your opinion?
No, not at all. The reason I say that is week 1, they just absolutely gashed us in the run game. They had 9 runs over 10 yards, 9 explosive runs in one game. We could not stop the run whatsoever. We had the injury to Dak. We didn't give Tony Pollard the ball in the right situations. It was just a mess. And now the Bucs have the 32nd ranked run game.
Right.
So you're just seeing a different team than what we saw. The game plan going into it is just not going to be at all what it was before because the Bucs pass the ball more than any team in the NFL. They're number 1 in pass attempts, and they're 32nd in run attempts. So they're as far from being balanced as you could possibly be right now. So, no, I wish there was, but it's 2023. It's a different year, and literally it's going to be a different game plan going into this, and it's going to be the same for them because they're not going against Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis now. They're going against other cornerbacks that we just talked about. So the Bucs game plan is just going to look significantly different attacking our defense than it did game 1, and that means our game plan to stop them is going to be completely different as well.
Here's the only thing that I think they can take from it is the Bucs defense and the scheme and kind of what they do there. Outside of that, I'm right there with you. Whatever. There's nothing there that's really there. But that defense isn't something they're not unfamiliar with because there's other teams that have played this in that realm. But boy, the thing we've seen Dallas kind of struggle with the last couple of weeks, strong defensive lines, and now back to what O was talking about earlier with Steele being up out of here, this run game just not getting off the mat in the Tennessee game or the Washington game. Well, Spoony, they got some big guys up front, hard to run the ball against. For you, is that where we're at here, Spoon? Is this what you're looking at this game going into here against that? Is it about the run game for Dallas for them to get this dub?
That's one of that is the biggest thing. That's how you win playoff games. And when you outrush your opponents, you have a better chance of winning the football game. And we have to establish the run. You got to get your like Tony Pollard involved. Hell, Lee Davis, is he active? He's going to be active for this game. Get him involved. Running the football does help everything out. It does keep your offense balanced, and it does keep the team's offense that's beating you, like Tom Brady, like Professor Oldest Cab, how he gonna attack our secondary because now it's wounded, it's weakened. The running game can help that. Keep them off the field. On top of that, it helps balance the offense out. It helps build up the play action and what else you need to do. So the running game is important.
Yeah, and key stat from last year's wildcard round in last season, all the teams that won except one outrushed their opponent in the wildcard round last year. So, that's a big check mark there with the Cowboys and what they need to do, especially the last 2 weeks with the way this run game has been paltry. They got to find a way to get it going here. And, the other thing too, when you're talking about Brady and him throwing the ball so much right now, he's getting it out in less than 2 seconds too. It's not like they're just throwing the ball a lot. Like, it's like 1.87 seconds. Like, he's getting rid of the ball quick. So that's going to be an interesting chess match there and what they're doing, especially as we've looked at the Cowboys kind of dropped the coverage back a little bit. They're not playing very tight. Maybe this week, maybe we see him step up a little closer to the line here. They're going to be a little too scared and give him those. Give him the pitch and catches. It could be a long day.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we were talking about what to take from week one. Really, I agree with everything that was said, but like hold them to 19 points. And actually score. Let's do that. Hold them to 19 points. If we can hold them to 19 points, there's no way we shouldn't win if we actually do what we've been doing for most of these last games. Hold them to 19 points. We did it the first week. We should. I mean, I know our personnel is going to be a little different, but
right.
I mean, like your running game isn't as good. They're going to pass more, so. Hold them to 19 points and don't run on first down. Don't run on first down. Like,
Mary,
y'all don't understand.
Do you want to take a guess on how many points per game the Bucs scored this year?
How many?
18.4. That's their average.
See,
what you're asking for is just hold them to their average, right?
Yeah. And I mean, if we don't run on first down a million times, like y'all don't understand, like every time I think about it or it's happening on TV, I like check my heart rate and it's just like whoosh. Like it is like bad for my health when we run on first down. Like I don't know who I need to talk to about this.
Yeah.
But they need to pay for my next doctor's bill if they keep doing it. Stop running on first down.
Send the bill to Jerry. I'm sure he'll take care of it. Go ahead, O.
So I'm kind of going a few different ways with it because the question that we're answering right now is, do we think that we'll press at the line a little bit more, get in the receivers' faces? I think we'll see more of it. I don't think we'll see a lot of it. And I kind of where I'm going with that is we know that Brady gets the ball out of his hands quickly. We know that they're going to screen you. That's the extension of the run game. People talked about it in the chat, and that's the reality. They throw a lot of screen passes. They get the ball out quick. Brady's a rhythm passer. But in recent weeks, Brady's been airing it out. The Cowboys have been super susceptible in the last 4 or 5 games, really, to getting beat deep. I'm telling Xavier Rhodes or whoever cornerback 2 is, I don't care if they throw it underneath. I don't care. Make them have 6, 7, 8, 9 completions on a drive to score because we know that they can't run the ball. Mm-hmm. Make them throw over and over and over and over and over again to beat us. I don't want the big play. I do not want to give up the big play. And I don't want to give Mike Evans the opportunity to beat someone deep. Keep it in front of you. Let the defense come up. We've been sound in tackling recently, most of the season, to be fair. Just make them slowly move downfield. I do want to say it's interesting. Tom Brady has typically or historically always been that quarterback that if you play zone covers, he's going to eat you alive. This year, cover 2 is what Brady has the lowest EPA per snap on both the zone and man is significantly the worst EPA that he has per target, or per dropback, I should say. So this week might be the week where you say, hey, let's play a little bit more cover 2 with a guy like Xavier Rhodes or Nahshon Wright. Whoever is outside, probably going to be Wright, I would assume, to start. But funnel the receivers at the line, get a jam. That will take a little bit of that quick rhythm passing out of their playbook. Makes it harder to throw screen passes. And you have 2 guys deep to prevent those deep passes. I think you may see more cover 2 this week than what we've seen in recent weeks, because that's what teams have done to slow down the Bucs offense. And the Bucs are -2 in turnover margin. So they will cough the ball up. Brady's thrown more interceptions recently, especially the second half of the year, than what you typically see from a Tom Brady offense. So I do think you do probably press a little bit more, but I think maybe cover 2 looks, whether they're disguised or not, is probably what you should do, because that takes away the deep ball and makes it harder to throw those quick passes.
And it's interesting.
Mike Evans just said today, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I hope they
Mike-
play cover 1.
Yeah, Mike Evans, like, I'm hoping
That's
to
what
see
they
some
want.
cover. Yeah, he's hoping to see some cover 1. Exactly. So the chess game within the game, right? And what they're going to do there and happen. I do want to bring this one up from BLS earlier too, because from week 1, right? And we said, hey, we knew what they were going to do. Y'all, everybody remembers after the Bucs game week 1, like, we knew they wasn't going to keep running the ball, blah blah blah, the whole 9. How does that factor into y'all? Not from what that is being said, but realistically, them just knowing how they're going to do and go about things. And we've heard that before, and we've seen that throughout the last 2 years. At times, teams just kind of like, no, we knew what they were going to do. We knew what to expect. Was Kellen Moore cherry picking the plays in Washington to turn it on here in the playoffs, y'all? Is that where we were at, guys?
I mean, it
wouldn't
really
go that
didn't
far,
make
but-
sense. It wouldn't make sense for him to do that, but at this point, I just don't ever know what's going on in his mind. Like drugs, I don't know. Do they drug test coaches?
They do, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, good. They should. He needs. To
Don't
give
you
another-
think maybe that? Just throwing it out there.
Okay.
Not saying this is a reality.
Sure.
Just saying. So, Cowboys fans, myself included, consistently complain about Kellen Moore and the offensive game plan, the lack of consistency, the lack of, hey, that was working, why'd you go away from it? That does add a little bit. I don't know that it's intentional. I don't think it is. But it does add a little bit of an element of surprise for a defense, because it's one thing when you're playing week 1, you've had the entire offseason, most of training camp and all that to prepare for it. Now that we've had 17 games of action, you've seen, hey, sometimes they play 13 personnel. Sometimes they play 14 personnel. Sometimes they move CeeDee Lamb all over the place. Sometimes they run heavy. You don't really know exactly what we're going to do. And again, I'm not saying or advocating that is a great thing about Kellen Moore, but I am saying I think now it's a lot harder to know, to say we knew what they were going to do than it would have been week 1.
That's
Just
fair.
because we don't even know what he's going to do, because we're like, what Kellen are we going to get?
Yeah.
So how could they know?
Spoonie, as we've talked throughout the course of this season, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, which a lot of times it holds true now just as much as it did anytime this season. Which Kellen Moore are we going to get, right? And what he's into and whatnot. And could be going a long ways to how this game plays out. Man, what you think?
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna say his job is on the line.
Whoa, pause. Rewind.
And
you,
so
you talking about Kellen Moore?
I think Kellen Moore's job will be on the line more than we think.
Okay.
And I really do think we're gonna see the best of him. You know, he's been here long enough, and you know, listening to Jerry Jones, a lot of times they're not gonna tell us the full what they're gonna do if something happens, but you can kind of read into a little bit when you hear things like, "There's more than it takes more than a loss for me to go out there and fire McCarthy, because there's a lot of things he checked off the box that was great for this Cowboys team." Like I said, anytime when you're missing players, injuries, he still kept his team winning. His experience. So, you know, I believe the front office understands that McCarthy pretty much saved the front office decision making as well, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that if the front office would have done in the offseason, like the receiving corps, the depth. McCarthy's coaching is what held this team together. And they understand that. You out there looking for a T.Y. Hilton, getting desperate to get Odell Beckham Jr. in here. That was all because you was too comfortable. McCarthy is the reason why this team is where they are. So I think when it comes to Kellen Moore, I think he's the odd man out, if anything. I think he's the one that if we get embarrassed, we're gonna look towards him. That's where I'm going. So I am saying yes. We're gonna get the best of Kellen Moore that we haven't seen in a while. He has no choice.
Fair enough. And he's got some calling him. Yep. And looking, they got teams calling. Panthers ready to interview him. Different things like that for a head coaching job. So yeah, lots on the line there. And look, here's the biggest thing, and I think what we want to see from this offense is bring the motion back in here. Let's get these guys, let's get the motion back into this offense, and let's get that play action rolling. Because when they have those things going, this is when this offense is really operating at a very high level and putting up
runs
points.
For Dak.
Yeah, some of that too in the right situation. I'm good there too. But to quote from a movie, leave nothing in the bag. It's it. You leave nothing in the bag this week. It is. You win, you go home. You got to go for it. You got to shoot and go. So if there was some sandbagging on the plays or whatever, I don't want to hear that this week, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Kellen Moore. It's time for you to press the button and hit the gas, and let's get this thing moving. Now, we'll see. Look, it's about the design deck runs. How about even some of the design CD runs that we've seen been effective this year? Even. Like, all those things. Because the running game right now, since Terrence Steele hasn't been around, as O was talking about earlier, the traditional thing that he likes to run the ball is not working. Okay, use some of these other guys. Use the all-pro punt returner Turpin on end around or something. I don't know, just do some things to throw it at them here in the playoffs and not look that vanilla like they did last week. Or even in I don't want to talk about the Niners game last year in the playoffs. We good, But I'm just saying, Kellen, the growth part of Kellen, which we have talked about at times on the show, is we have seen growth from him. He found a counterpunch. He's found some things. Well, now it's time to see him find some things in the playoffs and show that continued growth of where he's at is kind of where, this whole thing kind of comes from and what we've seen from him throughout this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's Kellen's the paradox, right? Like it's very interesting to see the two different sides of the fan base, because you have the people that are like, Kellen Moore is great. Look what he's done with all the offensive line issues and not having legit receivers aside from CeeDee Lamb. We're still number one and number two in all these different categories and all that stuff. And then you have the other part of it that's like, we're doing it in spite of Kellen Moore. He's the liability holding us back. There's not really a lot of people that are kind of in that middle ground. Everybody's kind of on one extreme or the other. It's interesting, right? He keeps getting NFL coaching opportunities, head coaching opportunities, or interviews, I should say. Maybe this is the year he gets one. I don't know. There's teams calling for him, so obviously there's some interest around the league in what he has to offer still.
Yeah, no, big facts. But the job's not done here. Job's not done. And Monday night, Spoonie, it's time for him to get after it.
Listen, I'm gonna be respectful. Here's the thing, man. You've been here 4 years. 4 years. You've been here under two coaches. You went from a former player to a head coach to an offensive coordinator job. Okay, you didn't do like most others who had to go through the ranks, or something happens, they take the advantage of the situation and show who they have. Like McVay, guys like him, he earned that. Kellen Moore has been handpicked, just like that, under two coaches. But the only difference is now is that you have a coach who has a solid resume, who has won in this league before, who can say, hey, no disrespect, if they have those type of meetings, but he doesn't know anything. And we have seen McCarthy call him out a couple of occasions on his press conference. Okay, so when you hear that, it's telling you that I have to work with somebody who I got to watch over, because they don't understand really what they're doing sometimes. I mean, that's the way I take it. You're still on the job training. Now, again, this is 4 years. By year 2 or year 3, we should be hearing he got better. This is the 4th year where this is where he should be in his bag. We're still on the same shit.
It's the consistency. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the lack of consistency. It's like, when do you get over that hump?
Right. It's, again, you can be a smart player, but now when we talk about playing checkers and chess, if I can't have a counter move for you, what am I going to do? Because that's the NFL. That's the NFL. People find ways. If you're taking this from me, okay, I'm gonna put this on you. Can you do that, Kellen Moore? Can you find a solution? If they take away something that you want, can you find a solution to help this offense go? You know what? Let's do this. Now we've seen Dan Quinn do it all year. You had to stop the run. Okay, guess what? You go from giving up 200 yards rushing to $120. That's an improvement. We still on the same crap, but what Kellen Moore gets by is that we're number one on the offense. We're top 5. Again, the offense does not give a Super Bowl. I don't give a shit about the playoff records. I don't care about numbers. We want a trophy. We want that hardware. When you hear this is the most talented team in the game, well, why are we not in the championship? Why are we getting bumped on the first round?
I don't think
why are we having offensive linemen running routes? Let's just keep it real. I'm just saying.
Hey, look, we haven't seen no offensive linemen running routes this year, Spoon, okay?
It took Mike McCarthy to say, yo, what we doing?
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. He's still, again, every child, right? Every child that you train how to walk, at a certain point, they're going to, Daddy, Mommy, I can walk. And they walk. That man can't walk alone. He cannot walk alone. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, I'm just calling it the way it is. He cannot walk alone. He needs McCarthy to hold his hand like a parent.
Yeah. Well, let's hope McCarthy can carry him across the street Monday night then. That's okay.
Thanks.
Let's just hope he can do that. So here's what we do. Here now. So the key to the successful offense, the Cowboys. Oh, for you, what's the number one thing key to success? You think is it going to be some of this motion? Is it going to be some play action? What do you think the key to success for the Cowboys, or a couple of things here offensively that we want to see from the Cowboys here Monday night in Tampa?
I mean, I think it has to be finding some sort of a semblance of a run game, because if you continuously, we know that our tendency is running ball on first down. We have the third most rushing attempts on first down of any team in the league. If we continue to fail on first down, you're going to have third and longs all game long, and that you're feeding right into what the Bucs and what a lot of these teams we play in the playoffs are going to do successfully. I don't necessarily need Tony Pollard to have 180 yards or anything like that. Notice I said Tony Pollard, not Zeke. Not that I'm just saying. I don't need Pollard to be this. It's great if he can be that explosive guy and generate some of those big plays, but if we can just have some semblance of a run game, it opens up everything for the offense. Because if you're stuck in second and third and longs all game long, by the time the second half comes around, you're not running on 2nd and 9 anymore. You're throwing on 2nd and 9, and now you're throwing on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5, or whatever. You're making the defense's life easier when you can't run the ball, especially if you're going to continuously run on first down. So to me, for us to win this game, our offense has to find. I don't care if it's 13 personnel. I don't care if it's spreading them out wide. I don't care if CeeDee Lamb's getting reverses. You have to be able to run the ball. And again, we don't need 250 yards. That'd be great if we got that. But if we can run for like 100 yards,
right,
110 yards, something like that combined, that's enough to make it easier to attack the defense on multiple phases and not be one-sided. So that's what I think we need to do. Run the ball. I don't care how you do it, preferably with Tony Pollard or Malik Davis, and then Zeke when it makes sense in short yardage situations. But you got to be able to run the ball, especially if you're going to do it on first down.
Yeah, the Tennessee Titans, 19 runs on first down for 33 yards is not going to cut it here in the playoffs. It's just not going to cut it. So, and that's kind of the biggest thing, because I know you're like me. We're pro throw the ball on first.
It's the best down here.
Yeah, it's the best down. The numbers are there, but the Cowboys are not that. They just don't like to do it. So, Mary, I know you talked earlier about your heart rate on the first down runs. Well, it's going to be spiking Monday night. I'm here to tell you now. It's going to be spiking. And that's back to your point. They have to find a way to get that thing average around 4 yards on those first down runs. You know, again, it doesn't have to be home runs. It doesn't be these 10-yard gaping runs. But if you can consistently churn out 3.5 to 4.5 yards on first down, and you're going to run the ball 19 times, it can carry you and get you somewhere and open the rest of the thing up like you talked about for sure. So run effectively on first down is the number one thing here from Pick Six Sports. Run effectively when you run on first down. Defensively, I think with you earlier, I think it is the cover two. I think that's what they need to get into. It's cover two, because one of the things too about some of these big plays that we've seen from the passing game against other teams, there's not a safety in the film. there's just no safety anywhere in the picture. Anywhere. Get the help over the top, because you are shooting. I mean, back to the Panthers game, they dialed up them shots. The Bucks. I mean, Brady threw for like 400 some odd yards. They were taking the shots downfield. Cover two shell, make them beat you. Look, the Dallas defense, against the run spoon, as you were mentioning earlier, tremendously has turned around. No, is it lockdown? No, I'm not saying it's lockdown. It's better than the week one when we played them. And from their standpoint, where they started to where they are now, their run defense or their run offense has been the same. So there's some ebb and flow there for this defense. And yeah, I think it's there. Any other wrinkle? Maybe if you're going to apply some pressure, maybe the middle, getting Brady's face. What do you think? Oh, if you got a little wrinkle into that cover two scheme that we're talking about here.
Yeah. So this is the week. You've been asking for it for a long time, but now that LVE is back and is going to play more snaps, this is the week that you should play Micah everywhere. Micah should not be your edge rusher this week.
Yeah,
you let Dorrance Armstrong, Tank, Valor. I'm assuming
Sam
I don't know
Williams, whoever.
Sam, if he's playing or not.
Well.
But you let those guys take the lion's share, quite literally, pun intended there.
Let's go.
From Micah, so that you
Punt
can rush
season.
him up the middle. You can do stunts, whatever it takes to get some interior rush, because Brady's getting the ball out quickly. The best way to get to a quarterback who gets the ball quickly is right up the gut. So whatever you got to do that, that's what they should do. I also think, I don't know if I should necessarily say it's a wrinkle or not. I guess it is personnel-wise. You should see a lot more Chauncey Golston Monday, than what we've seen this season. Chauncey, the run differential when he plays is like over a yard difference.
Yeah.
It's like a yard, 1.39 yards difference when he plays than when he doesn't. And you're also getting Hankins back, so that helps, again, shutting down the run. But Golston is a lot more athletic than what you're going to get from some of the bigger body guys on passing downs. But you also want to still be able to stop the run. So I think if you match him and Oso Digizua up both in the inside on pass rushing situations, you should be able to get more pressure. And maybe we see some, like we saw Tank last year when he slid back into 3-tech, some 5-tech looks. Maybe we do that a little bit more. But assuming we're not going to blitz a ton, it would be great if we do blitz him. But assuming we're not going to, so that we can help in coverage, I think that Chauncey Golston should get more looks. And I think that cover two is the way to go this week.
Yeah.
There it is. Cover two with some A-B gap blitzes and some Micah Parsons being the rook on the board, moved around. Offensively, everybody, for Mary's blood pressure, run the ball well on first down, because they're going to do it.
Yeah.
You know they're going to do it.
I mean,
just
to
run
me,
it well.
I agree with everyone saying run the ball effectively. Like, it's situational football too. So, like, the times where he likes to get cute randomly, and we're like, okay, why would you even do that in this situation?
Yeah.
Stuff like that is super important. We can't do stuff like that against overall a good defensive team. So situational, run effectively, and I agree. Rush 4, keep everybody else back, because they're gonna need that help. So definitely.
Mary, I know you got to get out of here at 9:30, so I will not start the Spoony sermon, because then you will not get out of here at 9:30.
Thanks.
But before you go, give us a score. What is the Cowboys-Bucks final?
I've been struggling with this all day, because we are hands down a better team, but I just don't know who's going to show up. I just don't know who's going to show up on the Cowboys. I don't know what the play calling is going to be. I don't know how the secondary is going to be. And so I'm going to originally choose us to lose and pray that I'm wrong. I'm praying that I'm wrong. So I'm going to go with 27-21.
Yowzers. Well, Mary, light a candle.
I'm gonna light a candle, but
say some Hail Marys.
prove me
Whatever
wrong,
it
Cowboys.
takes.
I picked them to lose a few times this year, and they proved me wrong.
It's true.
So
It's true.
I
hopefully,
I like
they,
the energy.
I like it.
I like the
hopefully
energy.
they do it again.
Yeah, I
So-
like the energy. I like the energy. Spoonie, what's the score, man?
Uh-oh.
Cowboys 28, Buccaneers 14.
2014 Cowboys. Okay. Professor O, what's the score? Who's winning Monday night?
I've been going back and forth on this all week long.
See? Yeah.
I have it. Part of me is like, it's Tom Brady. It's a road game. Not that the Cowboys are bad on the road this year, right? We were 4-4, so not terrible. But we were so much better at home than we were. And I've
Sure.
seen what our defense has been doing, trending downwards. But then I know we have the reinforcements coming back and a new addition added to it. Everything in me says the Bucs are going to win this game, and we're going to have a ton of crazy off-season
Chaos.
conversations.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan. It's 2023. I'm not going to start out my year negative. Georgia already won, so I already have good vibes going in. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win, and I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game that's tense all the way down to the end. And I think Tom Brady gets the ball with a shot to beat us, and somebody makes the play. I don't know who it is, so hopefully that happens. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys scored 19 points. We lost 19-3 week 1. We score 19 points. Cowboys win 19-13, shutting Brady down with a chance to go down and beat us by 1, but somebody comes up with a play. Maybe Deron Bland, but 19-13, Cowboys win.
1913. I know it's Tom Brady. Best 45-year-old Tom Brady. But here's where I struggle, right? It's simply this. The Cowboys, they'll play teams, and they know maybe they do have more talent than them, and then they don't play them the right kind of way, and we see things happen there. And this team, they have the names. You know Tom Brady. Ultimately, though, they're 8-9 It's who they are. So the Cowboys should win this game. And there becomes the problem. Vegas has this, last time I looked, Vegas has his favorite by 3 points. Those kind of things worry me at times when
We
it comes to the
should,
Cowboys.
but like, yeah.
Should.
Yeah.
But Matt, Spoonie, Mary, man, I'm on my same BS last year when we made the playoffs, man. I want the smoke. I don't care. I'm not picking them to lose. I'm not picking to lose until they lose. I don't care. Now we're in the playoffs. Regular season's out of here. There's some issues. Yeah, there's some things they do where they can throw the ball deep, and the Cowboys are having some issues at cornerback. I get it. I don't care. I want the smoke. I want to do this. I want to go to Philly, and then I want to go to San Francisco. That's what I want. I know, path of least resistance and all that. I don't care. I want the smoke. I want the smoke. But saying that I want the smoke doesn't mean the Cowboys will go out here and blow them out. I mean, we have doctor's appointments to go to and stuff because they keep us going. The cardiac Cowboys, if you will.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys win this game. I think the Bucs do score 19 again. But I am going the other way. It's 19-17 going down the stretch. Dak goes and gets a touchdown and wins this thing 24-19. And returns Brady.
like
Passing
it.
the torch is where
I
I'm
like
at.
that scenario.
Mary,
That
real
was-
quick before you drop out, Mary. Against the spread this year, the Bucs were 4-12-1.
Oh,
I know that obviously 12 is more than they
Yeah.
lost. It means they didn't win against the spread. They didn't hit the spread.
yeah.
At home this year against the spread, the Bucs were 1-6-1.
Oh,
And the Bucs against the spread as underdogs, which Nick, you said the Cowboys are favorited, right?
Mm-hmm.
0-3.
I
wow.
like it. I'm soaking all them numbers in, though. It's pretty dadgum good. All right, Mary. Well, we're going to get Spoonie over here to the sermon, so
All right, guys, let's get 6.
let's get 6. Let's go. Brought it back. Yeah.
No. Hold up. I've been waiting a whole year for her to say that. A whole year. And you're going to say that now? Oh, it's pie on my sermon now.
Oh, see, y'all enjoy. I gotta go back and watch
hell
it.
no.
Mary, run it back.
Hell no. Oh,
Lord,
let's
Lord,
get
Lord.
this right now.
All
Do this.
right. Ladies and gentlemen.
My glasses off, man.
Ladies and gentlemen. The Cowboys are officially in the playoffs. They're playing Monday Night Football on the road in Tampa Bay, but the possibility of return Tom Brady. You get Spoonie Sermons. This is the playoff edition of the one and only Spoonie Sermon. By all means, sir.
Now he got me hyped. You know, when we was all kids, our parents they told us, listen, when you get picked on, you get bullied, made fun of, sometimes you just walk away. You walk away. Because we don't want no physical altercation. We don't want to fight, hurt nobody, etc. But they have said sometimes if you can't avoid it, you're going to have to stand up tall and do what you got to do. Dallas Cowboys. Y'all been bullied by the media, disrespected, made fun of. Y'all have been the shield for everything bad that goes wrong for other teams. See, them other teams, they don't want to look at them. They don't care. It's about the Cowboys. It's always been about the Cowboys. See, but then this is when you look at your opponent who's been bullying you, the people who've been disrespecting you, and sometimes you gotta raise your hand up and punch them in the fucking mouth. So what I say to you is this. Now, we're in playoffs. All eyes are on us. Give everybody something to watch. Don't go to Tampa Bay and try to win this game. No. You will win this game by going to their house, take their TV, take their car keys, rub shit all over the fucking floors in that stadium, put a hole in that boat. You make Tom Brady retire. You make Tom Brady go to his ex-wife across the street on that fucking pond and go, baby, I'm sorry, I am back. I ain't retired because the Dallas Cowboys whipped my ass up and down on this field, and they told me I don't belong here no more. That's the kind of mentality you got to bring in that field, Cowboy Nation. We don't play down to our opponent. We don't play up to our opponent. We fuck up our opponents. And I'm going to say this right here, y'all. I saw a Philadelphia Eagles fan come and say, hey, this disrespect here. It's all love in here. You said you want the Cowboys? My God, we want your asses too, because we are tired of Philly Green Nation coming to our fucking house and want to say what they want. Nuh-uh! Understand this. Enjoy your 2023 hat and t-shirt of the NFC East champion, because the trophy that we're going for is only room for one team. And that one team is the Dallas Cowboys. You keep the NFC East championship, we want the Super Bowl. And guess what? It starts with the Buccaneers. Wait your turn, because when your turn comes, we're clipping your fucking wings.
Yo, hold on.
Let's go, y'all. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Real quick, this just kind of came out here too as well. Jonathan, about 4 minutes ago, Jonathan Hankins and other Cowboys rave about phenomenal practice they had today ahead of the playoffs. Interesting enough, that was one of the things they talked about. They had a bad practice week going into Washington. Phenomenal practice today. And phenomenal sermon from Spoonie. Phenomenal sermon from Spoonie. Obviously, guys, we'll be back in the building Friday, Freestyle Friday, to really wrap this thing up and get turned up for these playoffs as the Cowboys are about to go play Monday Night Football. We'll have some spaces in between now and then too as well, so make sure you're locked and loaded and ready to rock, and make sure you share it and tell everyone, and keep hitting that sub and the like button for us as always. Oh boy, hey man, something about when you get to these playoffs, man, it hits different. It just hits different. So I'm super excited about what's to come, man. I'm gonna hold that till later. All right, guys. Well, that be say, Spoon, you don't need to say nothing else. Maybe you need to though. Spoon emptied the clip. I don't even know how to close the show down after that. I don't even know what to do here now. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm just here.
So I'm not about to sermon it. That's Spoonie's thing. He absolutely crushed it. We've all been prophesied. We heard the word. The word was good.
Hold on. Hold on.
We don't need a solo for this. But, we're at this point in the season where the team collectively has an opportunity in front of them. The coaching staff has an opportunity in front of them. Kellen Moore, you're out interviewing. You're trying to get a head coaching gig. How about you go beat Brady on the road? Might put a little feather in the cap for those interviews.
Right.
Think you might impress Carolina Panthers, who are in the division with the Tampa Bay Bucks, right? Maybe that factors a little bit into their decision making on if they go with you or somebody else. If you can beat a division rival on the road in the playoffs, like you've worked all season long. We talk about this all the time with the draft, right? It's time to put the pencil down. It's in ink. It's sealed. You know your opponent. We know what we have to do. Go be great. This is what you dreamt of when you were a kid. This literally our players dreamt of this as when they were kids because that's how long Brady's played. Like you've thought about beating Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. You've thought about beating Brady, knocking him off of his pedestal. You have the opportunity to do that. You're in an NFC that's filled right now in the playoffs with guys like, no disrespect, but Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, and I'm not saying that to bash what he's done, but the NFC quarterbacks compared to the AFC quarterbacks in the playoffs, there's a significant difference in terms of experience and talent level. Like you can go through the road, which is not the easiest path, but you can do that this year in the NFC. Go be great. Don't let this be another year that you think about, we had an opportunity to slip through our fingers. Don't let this be something you're talking about next offseason saying, well, if we just had one other guy, we don't need another guy. We have 53 guys. The 53 guys we have now are who they are. They're who we need. Go be great. Go win this. Win this game. Get that momentum. Win this game. Give yourself another opportunity. Win this game. Go help your coaching candidacy. Whatever it is that you need, go be great. Like now's the time. There literally is no other opportunity greater than playing Monday Night Football in the playoffs against Tom Brady with an opportunity to say we could go get 6 this year, not next year, not 2 years from now. We're not building. We're not developing a roster. We have the roster. Go be great. Here's the opportunity. Let's do it.
From your lips to God's ears. Well said, well put. And, in the last part there, it's not a building thing. You look at these guys who are on this roster. Yeah, some young guys. But a lot of things are in place. Yeah, we could, maybe wide receiver here, there, whatever. It doesn't matter. So we'll put there. It's time here. You need 3 games. 3 games to be immortalized here to get you to the Super Bowl, get the Cowboys. I mean, the team that takes the Cowboys back to the Super Bowl for the first time since 96, my God, you just know what that's going to mean to it. So, because everything's in front of them, you got to go out there and get it. With that being said, Friday, we're back in the building. Ooh, boy, both you guys got me juiced up, man. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, I'm just going to kind of keep going now, Spoon. I just keep on going. But we'll get on up out of here. W say we'll see y'all Friday.